All right, guys, so let's get into the topic of what I would like to talk about today. And today, I want to talk about the power of stepping outside of your comfort zone. This topic can take a few different approaches, right? You can talk about the power of stepping outside of your comfort zone, the power of doing what you would never normally do before, the power of stepping outside of the red tape, right? The power of being a little bit more daring, the power of taking risk, right? And all of this is super important because what you're going to get when you start to step outside of your comfort zone, start taking more risks, start drawing outside of the lines, is you're going to find that the world is much bigger than you ever imagined it to be. And what's going to happen when you see that truth, when you see that amazingness that the world has to offer, way grander than you could ever imagine, is you're going to start to believe in the power and in the potential of greater possibilities. You're going to start to believe in the power and the potential of a greater reality beyond your current existing reality. So what happens to a lot of us is we get stuck in the day-to-day routine. We get stuck in the mundane. We get stuck in what was once maybe something new is now an unconscious habit, right? It's a repeated routine. And there's no more inspiration behind that routine. There's no more flair for newness or imagination or spontaneity. You're just stuck, right? And I know Tony Robbins is a firm believer of this, but happiness is a product of growth, right? I 100% agree with him. It's obviously not the whole story, but if you are growing, you are more than likely existing in a happier and happier reality. And it's not because you're achieving a happier state. It is because growth itself is part of the happiness formula, right? So, but the big thing is that when you're stuck doing the same thing, experiencing the same reality every single day, you're not living in a greater potential, right, than what you could be. You're not imagining, you're not seeing the affirmation that your life can be a greater potential than your existence, right? So a lot of people, they might say, oh, Alan, I want to make more money, or I want to see more places, or I want to do more things, or I just feel stuck, or I feel like I want to find my partner, or I want to buy a way bigger house than I have, or just buy a house, period, or I want to, whatever it is that you want to do. Think about it this way. You want to do it, which means you are telling yourself that you don't already have it. Okay, so if you want something that you don't already have, how do you get from point A, which is I don't have it, to point B, I now have it? The answer is creativity and imagination, right? So if you are at point A, I don't have, and you want to get to point B, I want, you need to take a certain set of steps that get you from A to B. Those steps require a little bit of imagination, resourcefulness, ingenuity, imagination, creativity, right? I said imagination twice, but hey, twice as much imagination. You require all of these things because once you apply them and then you go full force, commit to this place B that you want to get to, your human adaptability will start to kick in. You'll start to not only act on this imagination or act on the fact that you believe you can have this future potential right now, right? So if you believe that you're going to be poor forever, you're never going to start making more money. You're going to say, I want more money. You're going to say, I really want to make more money. But if I am poor, and you take the actions that someone of that state would take because they identify with that state, then you'll never have the opposite, which is what you want, right? You are always a product of your identity, right? So if you want to change your actions, right, to align with someone who has the things you want, you need to become the kind of person that takes those actions. If you want to become the kind of person that takes those actions, you need to take a look at the words you're telling to yourself, the kind of people that you spend time with, the kind of environments that you place yourself into, the kind of things that you allow into your space and into your personal identity, right? Now, this is where the stuck happens. A lot of people, they keep allowing all the things. They say, I want this, right? I want to have this great thing. But they're not willing to change the identity, right? Or at least they're not consciously aware of it. Or they're not aware of how to do it, right? Because they say, I want this thing. But then they keep doing the actions. They keep spending their time in the same way in which a person who identifies with not having those things spends their time, right? For example, I want to have more money, and I don't currently. How do I get to having more money? I change my actions, I change my behavior, I change my identity, which leads me to change all of my behaviors. But if my identity never changes, I never change what I do, I never change how I talk, I never change the things I listen to or the things I surround myself with, why would I expect any of my actions to change? They might change a little bit. I might start to save a little bit more, but will that habit be consistent if you are not the kind of person who does that already, if you are not that identity? If you're just saying, I'm going to just will myself to save more every month, but you still surround yourself with an identity of spending a lot of money, of, maybe an environment, maybe it's on your social media where there's a lot of shopping, right? And you allow that influence to influence your subconscious. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so basically what we've talked about is what happens when you get stuck. You stop growing. You don't realize how unintentional we can become when we don't push the boundaries of the life that we're surrounding ourselves with, right? When we're not pushing the boundaries of stepping outside of our comfort zone in those areas where we not only see greater potential in the world around us, but we also see greater potential within ourselves. That's a huge one. Today, me and Rachel went to this place called, what was it called? It's called Civita de Bognoregio, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I'll show you some pictures if you're watching on YouTube right now as I'm speaking. And it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And you forget, when you see something like this, you forget how amazing this world can be, how absolutely grand it can be. And when I was watching it, my eyes just opened up. The potential to live in an environment where you get to see this every day and make a living if you want, while being able to see that on your daily environment. That would be amazing. That would be a potential that I had not previously thought of, but now I see it, right? And I started right then in that moment, as I was the person watching this beauty, right? I wasn't seeing it on my phone and saying, oh, how lucky that person, they get to see this. No, I was seeing it with my own eyes, which means I was identifying with it in my own subconscious. How amazing it would be to see that kind of view every day. And so when I see that potential, not only in the external world, but within me to be able to move towards that and manifest it, I can start to align my behaviors to just shift a little bit, right? And that little inch is called growth. You do that enough times, those little inches where you shift and adapt and really not just say you want to be the kind of person who sees those things, or not just say I want to be the kind of person who acts this way or spends time in these places or spends time having these things. You don't just say it. You step outside of your comfort zone. You step outside of your day-to-day routine. You step outside of the things that you would never do, and you do those things that you would never do. Then you start to feel like you already have it. Because guess what I felt today as I was watching this beauty? That I already was watching this beauty. That this was already my life. And guess what? It is. Because I already saw it. I personally saw it with my own eyes. Right? And now I know that because I saw it with my own eyes, I'm worthy of continuing to see it with my own eyes. I know that that's a part of my potential that can one day just be that'll be my routine. My monotony, my mundane will be to wake up to a beautiful view. One day that will be my constant. And one day I'll have to go back and listen to something like this, or think of the thoughts just like I'm thinking now and say, okay, how am I not growing? Right? And I'm not growing because I want to have more, because I'm greedy or anything like that. It's just simply a matter of, I want to see what I'm capable of. I want to see myself experience the greatest reality. I don't want to get to the end and say, did I have fear? Did I have hesitation? Where could I have let go a lot more? And where could I have experienced a greater potential? Where could I have taken that step towards fear that I really wanted to do, but I didn't, and I hesitated, and I played small, and I didn't show up as my greatest self because of fear? I don't want to get to the end, and I don't want to say that, right? So for me, and I know that for a lot of you guys, stepping into the things that make you uncomfortable is the way that you find out what you're really made of. Not only that, but I guarantee you that when you find out what you're made of, and I'm not saying put yourself in uncomfortably bad situations. No. Put yourself in uncomfortably amazing situations. And you'll see what you're really made of. Right? All the greatness, that great environment will bring out the greatness in you. Right? So if you have a dream, whatever you think you would do to achieve that dream, whatever that answer is, I'm going to tell you for the purpose of challenging you that you're playing within the lines. So whatever you've written down or brainstormed, whatever your 5-year plan is, cut it down. 6 months, 1 month. I dare you to do that. 1 month. Right? Make something happen. You know, if you say, oh, okay, yeah, easy for you to say, Alan, but this is my goal and it requires this and I don't have, or blah, 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 excuse, whatever, if, ands, or buts. I get that sometimes that is right, but I would say that 95% of the time, you can find a way. Maybe you might not get it all the way, exactly the way you envisioned it, but really what you're searching for is a feeling. Right? So ask yourself, okay, forget the thing that you want. What is the feeling you want to have? What do you really want? When you identify what you really want, the feeling behind it, go feel it within a week. Go feel it within the next few weeks. Do something that you would never do to make you feel the way you want to feel. To make you feel like you already have the thing that you say is going to take a year to get. Right? If you say, my goal, I remember a year and a half ago, my goal was to just buy a house. And I could have told myself, I'm going to give myself a year, 2 years to buy a house. Because at that time, I didn't have money. I don't know how I really don't know how the heck I even pursued it, let alone did it. right? But I did. I bought a duplex, right? And I could have said, I'm going to work, I'm going to save, and in a year, I'll start doing my dream. No. You go feel like you already have it. If your goal is to buy a house and you think you can't, screw the but part, screw the I don't think I can yet, and just say, if my goal is to buy a house, I'm going to go tour houses. I'm going to go talk to real estate agents. I'm going to go talk to a lender. I'm going to do everything in my power to feel like I'm already moving towards it. Because remember that the secret to the happiness part, the little portion of happiness, is all it asks for is growth. Happiness doesn't ask you to achieve the thing you want and then you're happy. You're not going to be happy when you get to the top of the mountain. You're going to be happy feeling like you're already moving towards the top, right? Just feeling like you're going towards it. Feeling like you're doing something for yourself. Feeling like you're doing the thing you really want to do. Stepping outside of ifs, ands, or buts, any excuses, just doing what you want. That is enough to make you feel like you already have it. To feel like you are already happy. Right? So once you start to feel that, trust me, your imagination is going to start to fire, because you're going to see and start associating with things that you didn't think you could associate with. Your imagination is going to start to go wild. You're going to start to get more creative. You're going to start to see opportunities because you're saying yes to yourself and yes to your dream and yes to the thing that you really want. And when you start saying yes to yourself like that, you can either say that the universe somehow puts a door in front of you and then they just start opening. Doors start opening left and right, right? And then all the things that you thought were why you should wait a year end up falling in your lap much sooner than you thought, right? You just have to give yourself a chance, right? So, this is my challenge to you. My challenge to you is to do one thing in the next week that you would never think of doing, that you would never normally do, right? Take a look at your routine and throw a big fat wrench in it. If you work on Tuesday, take Tuesday off and go do something insane. I know I've been saying I want to go skydiving. Go jump out of a plane. If you didn't ever think about wanting to jump out of a plane, that's exactly why you need to go jump out of a plane. I hope a lot of people go skydiving after listening to this video. Or whatever it is for you. The challenge is go do something that you would never, ever think of doing in the next week. I wish you my best and have a great day.